Hi, I'm Myssy G, and welcome to another Storytime adventure. And today's story is about biographies. Have you ever heard a biography before? Well, a biography is a different way of saying about a true story. So today's book is all about a true story. So let's dive in, shall we, and learn about a true story today that really happened. Today's book is called Feathers Together, and it was written by Karen Levis and Charles Santoso. So let's dive in. Rain or shine, Clepton and Melina explore every season together. When spring bloomed and hopped, he inspected everything closely. Prrr, clop, clop, prrr. And she jumped into it all with wings wide open. At night, they nestled side by side, planning their next adventures. Summer would be for swimming and fishing. Then in fall, they would migrate with the flock all the way from Croatia to South Africa to spend the next season in the bright, warm sun. The journey was long and sometimes dangerous. So Clepton went over the directions while Melina practiced navigating rough winds. Crew, we're brave explorers. Crew, she squawked. Clepton agreed. Crew, crew, whatever the weather, we'll weather it. Feathers together, they declared. But then Melina got hurt. They didn't understand how it happened. So fast, too blurry. Clepton swooped right to Melina's side. His beak gently tapped her favorite tune as everyone at the pond rushed to help. After much resting and healing, Melina's wing did not hurt, but it wouldn't flop, so she couldn't fly up to their nest. Luckily, the kind, feather-headed man had an idea. Soon there was a path to a new nest. The feather-headed man set out a bucket of fish. For as long as you like, my home is your home, he said. Clepton checked that everything was sturdy and snug as Melina strode up the ramp. Crrr, crrr, whatever the weather, he clacked softly. Feathers together, crrr, she agreed. That night, Melina told the jokes, and Clepton told the bedtime story as stars twinkled them to sleep. Now summer was for settling into their new home and getting used to the different way Melina's body moved. It was for fishing, swimming, and gardening too, with the feather-headed man and the cat, who became part of their flock and made Melina and Clepiton part of their family. One cool day, the stork sensed it was time to travel. But Melina knew her wing would never fly across the world, and to swim or walk so far was impossible. If you if you can't, I won't, Clepiton said. You can and you must, Melina insisted. But whatever the weather. So she gave him one of her feathers, and he gave her one of his. They promised to send jokes in the clouds and stories in the stars. Being apart will be a new part of our together, they decided. But a few days before takeoff, Melina and Clepiton were ready to part at all. Everything was a last time and felt all wrong. Their last swim was too cold. The last berries too sour. And the last day was definitely too short. That night, the nest felt tight and spiky. They kept ruffling one another the wrong way. Crrr, crrr. No, I don't want to hear one last joke, Clepiton snapped. Crrr, crrr. Stop saying the end, Melina hissed. They stalked off and ignored each other. So the feather-headed man told the bedtime story and tucked them in. Friendship survives all kinds of goodbyes, he whispered. In the morning, winds shifted. And wings lifted. Brrr, be safe, stay warm. Whatever the weather, feathers too. A strong gust sent the flock on their way. The villagers waved. Clepiton kept looking back, and Melina watched the sky until the dots of each other disappeared. For several weeks, Clepiton flew south, navigating smooth currents and rough patches without Melina. Melina walked and rolled, getting to know the whole town without Clepiton. By the time Clepiton landed, Melina had built an indoor nest. The same sun shined on them in different ways. His days grew warmer and hers got cooler. Clepiton had the flock and Melina had the family. But missing each other was like having an itch in a place neither could reach to scratch. Missing made new foods taste icky and old foods taste blah. It made sleeping too loud and waking up too quiet. Clepiton got confused about how he could, or if he should, have fun without Melina. Sometimes Melina got so mad about the sunny sky she couldn't fly in, and everything not fair that she snapped at the cold air, which turned her sharp breath into soft clouds. Remembering her promise, Melina sent her silliest joke south. And when frozen stars swirled, she examined them closely, just like Clepiton would. Krr, krr, clup, clup. One day, miles away, Clepiton saw funny shapes in the sky. They reminded him of Melina's best joke. So when a sprinkle of drops sprayed him, Clepiton laughed and jumped right in. Splash! Just like Melina would. That night, he sent the story through the stars. For the rest of the season, Melina and Clepiton collected new adventures under the same sky. Missing became a gentle hum, like the purr of a cat or the flutter of a warm breeze. One day, Clepiton saw legs stretching, wings fluttering, and beaks pointing home. He took off in a hurry, rushing. Flap, flap, flap! Far away north, Melina was noticing buds, tadpoles, spring. She rushed to ready the nest and wait. Tap, tap, tap! But as miles, weeks, and days spun by, closer seemed farther, faster felt slower. A squall blew Clepiton off course. Rain soaked his feathers and hopes. What if Melina wasn't okay, waiting, saving his spot? Day after day, as petals opened and frogs grew, Melina kept squinting and searching. Then finally, the village sky filled with wings, except for Clepiton. Was he lost? Hurt? Having too much fun to return? Other storks noticed the empty spot in her nest. She spread her wings across it until one last stork finally arrived, but so did a surprising silence between old friends. Suddenly, new again. Finding the right hello was like fishing in a tangle of weeds. Until Melina jumped in. Grrr, grrr. Whatever the weather took you so long, I missed you. Clapperton laughed. Grrr, grrr. Silly stork, I missed you too. After some shuffling, they remembered how they fit in the nest side by side. Cheers rose. And as the sun went down, Clapperton told the jokes, and Melina told the bedtime story. And all night long, they shared the tales of their adventures apart. Feathers together. A note from the author. This book is inspired by the true story of Melina and Clapperton, two white storks who spent a season of each year living over 8,000 miles apart. They reunited every spring for 19 years in the village of Brodski, Croatia, until Melina died of old age in 2021. The pair birthed and raised 66 fledglings with the support of their human caretaker. Stepan, a school custodian, took in Melina in 1993 after he discovered her injured by a poacher and unable to fly. After several years, Melina was joined by a male stork whom Stepan named Clapperton. Clapperton would migrate to South Africa each year with the flock, and then, after a dangerous month-long journey, reunite with Melina in spring. People from all over Croatia and the world anticipated and celebrated the pair's reunion every year with nervousness and hope. Stepan himself was inspired to become an advocate for greater protection for storks. Ideas for this book came from the research I did about the real Melina and Clapperton, stork behavior, migration, Croatia, and South Africa. I included some real-life details and used much imagination. I am in awe of the bond these birds maintained over great time and distance. Clapperton and Melina's story also reminded me of human families and friends for whom being apart is a part of their together. When I began writing, I was thinking of separation caused by circumstances such as military deployments, immigration, work travel, and the modern-day geographic spread of families. Then a global pandemic forced family and friends all over the world to live apart. And I was inspired by the ways people were creating a sense of togetherness from a distance. As I finish this story, I am looking forward to reconnecting with people I love. Reuniting might make us feel confused or shy, but as the storks reminded the millions of who watch them, there is a great joy in rediscovering and celebrating with those we love and have missed. So, what'd you think of the story? I am anxious to find out what you thought of the bond between the two storks, how they were so devoted to each other for so many years. If you love this story and all the other stories that I've read so far, you can always find them at your local library. In the meantime, keep your stick on the ice and your puck off the sides. I'm Myssy G, and this was another Storytime adventure. God bless.